So, hello everybody and welcome! Yes, welcome back here at BSN Network today. Welcome back here at BSN Network. Hopefully everybody's having a good day so far. It is Friday, final day of the week until the weekend. So that's always good, and we got a lot of stuff to talk about today. We got Aaron Rodgers' possible landing spots. I got some that I think might happen. I might rearrange some of the ways that could happen, meaning rearrange some of the possibilities, going to the most possible landing spot to the most least possible. So Cam Newton, Redskins, that's another thing we got talking about today. Ron Rivera said he's not ruling out a Cam Newton reunion in Washington. So who knows what could happen? And then we also got The Last Dance. We're going to talk a little bit about that. And then we have the Alex Smith E60 later on today. So that's good. Alex Smith E60. It's going to be talking about. I'm going to watch it. It's going to be talking about if you probably didn't know this already. Alex Smith had a horrible injury. I think it was last year or 2 years ago. 2 years ago. So it was 2 years ago, and pretty sure it was. And pretty much, it was 2 years ago. So year before Dwayne Haskins, and he had a horrible injury. Bone sticking out of his leg, stuff like that. And pretty much what happened he almost actually. It was crazy how bad it was. He had a bad infection while they were doing it. So it's kind of going through the whole thing of what all happened and that kind of stuff like that. But yeah, so that's what we got for that. So let's get into it. So Aaron Rodgers landing spots, everything with going on with Aaron Rodgers, Jordan Love, everything like that that's going on with Green Bay Packers. Everybody knows about it. It's going to be interesting to see what happens, how it unfolds after. You're really going to see how it all unfolds when after this whole, the virus thing ends, it's going to see what training camp's going to bring. When you really get to see both players, face to face against each other, battling for that starting role. I wouldn't be surprised if you see Jordan Love trying to take that starting role. So it's very interesting what's going on with Green Bay Packers right now and Jordan Love and Aaron Rodgers. So I thought about talking today. I was looking at an article, the top 7 landing spots for not this season, but next season. We're talking top 7 landing spots for Aaron Rodgers possibly, that he could possibly go to. There's a lot of rumors where everywhere he could go there. I mean, almost any team could be in the mix for this, right? Some teams might have him as a backup, or some teams might have him as a starter. I would imagine a team's going to start Rodgers. He's still got a little gas left in him, I'm pretty sure. Meaning gas in the tank. It's a little low, but I'm pretty sure he's got a little bit more to finish out, maybe 2-3 more years, and he should just retire. Who knows? Rodgers might finish out this season, say, you know what, I'm done. He's 36 years old now, so you assume he plays for 2 more years, that's about 39, 40 years old. He's getting old. He's getting up there in age for a football player, and I think his career is starting to wind down a little bit, and, I don't think he's going to play up until Brady, where 40 or something. I don't know if he's going to get all the way up there. I think he might. I wouldn't be surprised. He's played 16 seasons. I wouldn't be surprised to see him after this season say, you know what, I'm done hanging up the cleats. Football, 17 seasons, and I'm kind of done. Obviously Jordan Love is going to take over. That's the face. Now that's going to be their future of their quarterbacking, I'm assuming. Or of their team right there, Jordan Love. So that could happen. Anything could really happen here. Aaron Rodgers could go to another team and, play pretty well there for the next 2-3 years and then finish out his career. Or after this year, I wouldn't be surprised to see it. Just say, I'm done. I'm done with football. I'm going to retire, and that's going to be it for me. Either one of those can happen. I wouldn't be surprised to see either. All I know is I do not see him next year being in a Packers uniform. That is all I'm going to say. That's all I'm going to say. He's either going to retire or he's not going to be in a Packers uniform next year. So, either way, he's not going to be in a Packers uniform. Because if he retires, he's not going to play for the Packers, obviously. He won't play for any team. And if he plays for another team, he's not going to be wearing the Packers uniform. So, either way, I don't think next year you're going to see him in a Packers uniform. Or, I wouldn't be surprised this year if maybe he says, you know what, I'm done. Like, maybe it's a possibility. Maybe he gets traded sooner rather than later. Who knows? It's kind of up in the air right now what the Packers' mindset is. Nobody really fully knows what their mindset is. Maybe they want Rodgers out, and maybe they're going to say, you know what, Jordan Love, you take the starting job. Maybe they want Rodgers out of there. Rodgers. I've just heard of it before. I've known he's Rodgers is. He's a little bit of like I don't know how to word it perfectly, but to say, like, he's not great. Like, he's not a great teammate. He rolls his eyes to the coaches. It's kind of like he thinks it's his team. And he doesn't realize that the coaches are there. And that's why I think Matt LaFleur, the Packers coach now, I think he learned from McCarthy. McCarthy, that's why that was an ugly breakup with them two. Now McCarthy's with the Cowboys. And I think why McCarthy left, why they got rid of McCarthy was because Rodgers didn't want him. And I think they were just done with each other. Rodgers was rolling his eyes. You saw it. There was literally footage of him rolling his eyes after he got the play because he wasn't happy. And he was changing up the play in the huddle. And that's probably part of the reason they went 7-9 because they weren't on the same page. Or wherever they went. They weren't on the same page. And they weren't, working together. They were kind of, no, this is my team, no, this is my team. And I have a feeling Matt LaFleur might think that might happen. So I think he might be like, all right, Jordan Love, we're going to take him, and we're going to see what he can do. He's going to be the future of our team. Rodgers might be gone after this year. It all depends. But I have 7 landing spots. I was reading an article today, and these are the 7 that I found. It could be mixed up a little bit. Cam Newton, leading into our next segment, the Washington Redskins being on this list could change if somehow Cam Newton goes to the Redskins. And who knows, Dwayne Haskins could have a breakout year after his rough rookie season last year, after his very rough rookie season last year. But it all depends to see what happens here. So Aaron Rodgers, possible landing spots. Here we go. Number 7, Jacksonville Jaguars. We all know they were aiming for a quarterback in the NFL draft, and they didn't get one. But I shouldn't say aiming, but some people thought they might get a quarterback in the NFL draft, and I wouldn't be surprised. I think the Jaguars right now are kind of at that point. They're like, okay, we're fine with Minshew for the moment. But if Minshew doesn't have a good year this year, and we go 4-12, 5-11 again, we might go ahead and say, you know what? If a quarterback's out there on the market that can get us wins, we might have put Minshew as the backup and grab another player. So I can see Rodgers possibly landing to the Jaguars. Number 6, the Denver Broncos. I don't fully agree with this. Here's my reasoning. I just don't agree quite with this. I don't see the Broncos being a possible landing spot for Rodgers. Here's my only reasoning. Is if Drew Lock plays good this season and they want some sort of mentor behind him, because Rodgers can be that. But I'm just worried that Rodgers is going to want that starting job, and I just don't know. I don't see the Broncos. I don't know. I don't quite agree with this. Like I said, this isn't my list. This is somebody I found in an article list, and I'm going to change it a little bit with my opinion. So I don't really know. The Denver Broncos, I don't see really possibly being a suitor for him. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm right. It all depends. I just don't see it really. I see maybe another team that's really in need, because I know I might be hyping up Drew Lock a little bit. I really believe Drew Lock's gonna have a good couple of seasons with the Broncos. I don't know if he's gonna be your guy that can lead you to Super Bowls and all that, can lead you to big playoff wins. I don't know if he's gonna be that, but I believe he could be a player that could really do some damage to opposing defenses. Number 5, Indianapolis Colts. The Colts are a team that's in need of a quarterback. Like Phillip Rivers. I just don't see, with Phillip Rivers being there now, I just don't really know, what he's going to bring. Is Phillip Rivers going to bring, what's going to happen to Phillip Rivers? Is this going to be his only year or whatever with the Colts, or is he going to be, playing with the Colts for a couple more years? Phillip Rivers is also getting up in age. I'm going to pull it up right now. I want to see how old he is. Phillip Rivers, let me see. He is 38, so he's even older than Rodgers. So, he's getting up in age too. 38 years old, he's getting up there as well. Colts, that's not going to be your answer. I could see maybe if he doesn't do that great this season, maybe the Colts aiming for Rodgers. Number 4, Washington Redskins. Like I said, I don't know if this could happen because they might get Cam Newton. There's a possibility. But here's my other reasoning behind possibly having the Redskins get him is that, let's just say Dwayne Haskins has another bad year. You got to think about maybe looking at another quarterback, right? Because that's too... Like, last year, he did not play good, right? We can all agree. He did not have a good year last year. And this year, we don't know if he is. You don't know if he is or not, right? I think they need receiver help around him. They really don't have much receivers around him, the Redskins. And I think that's the problem with Dwayne Haskins. I think you really need to give him that kind of number one receiver. Give him that kind of guy, and Dwayne Haskins might be able to do some damage. He did in Ohio State. Why can't he do it in the NFL? It's a little bit different. Number 3, New England Patriots. I could see this being the number 1 team. New England Patriots are in need of a quarterback. I get it, like I said yesterday. All of a sudden, people are hyping up Jarrett Stidham. They're like, oh, Jarrett Stidham's going to be our quarterback. Oh, we're okay with Jarrett Stidham. Oh, Auburn coach came on to a show, and I overheard him saying, oh, Jarrett Stidham was an excellent guy to coach. Jarrett Stidham, Jarrett that, Jarrett Stidham this, Jarrett Stidham that. Like, everybody's talking about Jarrett Stidham, I feel like, around the Patriots organization. I'm not trying to say Jarrett Stidham's going to be bad for them, but I just don't know if he's the answer. I don't know if he's going to be able to be your quarterback that's going to be able to give you quality starts, quality games, get you to the playoffs. Rodgers, I believe he could still have a playoff run in him. I don't believe he has a Super Bowl run. I think Jarrett Stidham's is further away from a playoff run than Aaron Rodgers is. And I just think Jarrett Stidham doesn't have many receivers to throw to. I think Rodgers could possibly make it happen. I think Rodgers would be better without many receivers than Stidham would be. I think Rodgers is overall a better quarterback. I mean, it's obvious. Rodgers is probably a Hall of Famer. Stidham's not even played, hasn't even started yet, so you can't compare the two. But I just don't see Stidham being the answer. I know a lot of people say, oh, Jarrett Stidham's going to be a quality player for us. I just don't see him being the answer. I see the Patriots needing to go out there. Even if it's Andy Dalton for 2-3 seasons, even if it's that, I just don't see you having Jarrett Stidham starting. I think Andy Dalton would be better for you starting. Number 2, San Francisco 49ers. This, I don't know where this came from. I'm a little confused by this one. They have Jimmy G. I guess you can maybe make the argument they need a backup, besides Jimmy G. And let's just say Rodgers comes in there. He could be a quality backup for them. Number 1, the Las Vegas Raiders. I think this one makes perfect sense. I agree with this one. The Raiders need a quarterback, right? Derek Carr, he's not that good, right? I just don't think he's that great. I think the Raiders should move on from Derek Carr, and possibly get Aaron Rodgers. Or if they have a bad year this year in the draft, or a bad year this year in the league, in the regular season, they could go ahead and say, NFL draft next year, 2021 NFL draft, there's a guy called Trevor Lawrence out of Clemson. If we do horrible this year and end up with him, that could be awesome. There's also rumors that the Jaguars would end up, we're talking the NFL draft to next year, so that's a little long from now. But for example, let's just say the Raiders do decent this year, they go 7-9. They're probably going to get rid of Derek Carr. I think Derek Carr, it's playoff or nothing for them. I really do. I think it's playoff or nothing for Derek Carr, and I just think that if the Raiders find a way to make the playoffs and Derek Carr has a good season, maybe you see them re-signing him. Maybe you don't see Rodgers going to the Raiders. But I think if Derek Carr has another bad season or Rodgers is out there, I wouldn't be surprised to see the Raiders swooping up Rodgers, taking him to be their quarterback. So, Derek Carr. So that's what I got for that, and we're going to move on to some Aaron Rodgers stats here. He's not horrible. Like I said, he's a good quarterback. He's had a great career. He's a Hall of Famer, right? And I really believe that he's still got a little bit left in him. I don't know if he's got Super Bowl in him. Oh, you could always make the argument, well, did you see him last year make it to the NFC Championship game? Yes, but I just don't know if he's got Super Bowl in him. Maybe make the Super Bowl. I just don't see him getting another Super Bowl win. I think his Super Bowl wins those days are a little bit gone. I think those days are gone. I think making the playoffs is still an option. I could still see him making the playoffs. Aaron Rodgers stat, 26 touchdowns, 4 interceptions, 4,002 yards, 95.4 rating. He doesn't throw interceptions that much. I've known this for a while now. He's almost like a Brady. They don't turn the ball over that much. And I know this is a little off topic, but just speaking of interceptions, there was a thing somebody told me yesterday. It was funny. They said Jameis Winston will now finally be able to throw to Bucs players. I don't know if you get the joke. You might not get the joke, but it said Jameis Winston will now be able to throw to Bucs players because he's on the Saints. So now he'll be able to throw to Bucs players, meaning getting interceptions, throwing them to the Buccaneers players. Finally, he will be able to because on a different team, so now they're going to be picking him off. It was pretty funny. But Rodgers takes care of the ball. He's not a big turnover. He's not a 15 interception guy every season. His career stats: 181 games, 6,061 attempts, 30,913 completions, 64.6 completion percentage. Attempts per game, 33.5, rounded up to 34. Yards, he's had a total of 46,946 yards. His average per play is 7.7. Yards per game is 259.4. Touchdowns, he's had 364 touchdowns. Touchdown percentage is 6. Interceptions, he has 84. Interception percentage 1.4. His long in his career is 93 yards. 611, he's gotten sacked. See? He's gotten sacked 448 times in his career. And wait, that can't be right. Never mind. And then his QBR rating is 102.4 in his career. Which actually isn't that bad. It's pretty good. His rating. So that's what I got for him. Like I said, he's still a quality quarterback. He's still got playoff in him. I don't see him maybe not Super Bowl in him, but definitely playoff in him, right? And I think some of these teams that are in really big need of a quarterback could use Aaron Rodgers, who can give them maybe 1 or 2 seasons of quality play, making the playoffs, give fans some hope, right? I could see it happening. Some of these teams are good suitors, in my opinion, for him. So that's what I got for Aaron Rodgers. And like I said, it's going to be interesting to really see what happens. It could be ugly. It could get ugly, the breakup between the two teams, between Rodgers and the Packers. It could get ugly. We don't know though. It all depends. It all depends on what happens with Jordan Love and what the coaches think, what the front office thinks, what really happens. It's their choice, right? Rodgers, really, it's not his choice here, depending on... It's Rodgers' choice. Maybe Rodgers might be able to... Maybe Rodgers in a couple days from now, people be like, you know what, I'm done. I'm done with the Packers. I want to go join another team. Who knows? It's up in the air right now. Like we said, like I said yesterday, the Packers are playing something on us. The Packers are doing something on us. Like they're planning something on us. They're being sneaky right now. They know what they're doing, but just fans right now, all we can do is just speculate. And it could be wait until next season, and then you see him leave. It all depends, right? It's really up in the air right now. So that is what I got for the Aaron Rodgers, and now we go into Cam Newton. I don't know if this is going to happen, but I'm going to cover it anyway because I thought it was interesting. Because I think Ron Rivera likes Cam Newton. I really do. And I wouldn't be surprised to see him reunion in Washington Redskins. And I'm not joking when I say this. I actually wouldn't have been wherever I'm not joking. I'm not going to joke about this. I'm actually being for real. When Ron Rivera when Ron Rivera was out there to go join another team, I was like, you know what? I wouldn't be surprised to see Cam Newton. So I never really said it. I just thought about it. I didn't fully think about it, but I was just like, oh, maybe Cam Newton follows Ron Rivera because the Panthers were done with Newton, that, and Ron Rivera left the Panthers. He got fired, so he's now with the Redskins. So I wouldn't be surprised to see Cam Newton team up there. Here's just the one thing: are you real? If Cam Newton goes there, is he going to be a backup or is he going to be the starter? Right? And I think there's a lot of everybody. I think it's just Cam Newton, he's 30 years old. He's still got, if he plays, let's just say he plays till, let's just say he plays till he's 37, right? He could still have 7 years left in the NFL. He could still have 7-8 years left in the NFL. Now, the injuries. Here comes the part where the bad part of Cam Newton. It's the injuries. He's gotten injured a lot. You look at his past seasons, 2 games, 14 games. He's gotten injured last year. He only played 2 games, right? And He had 0 touchdowns, 1 interception, 517 yards, 71 rating. You can't take his stats from last year and say, oh, look at his stats from last year. He played 2 games. You just can't do that, right? And you can always say, oh, well, last year when he played those 2 games, they were 0-2, and without him, they were whatever. But like I said, this is the same thing. I go back to the Nets sometimes. When people were trying to compare Kyrie Irving missed games to the games he played, they had a better record to the games that he didn't play. Well, you look at it, Kyrie Irving, the amount of games he missed, I know this might sound a little off topic, but it's kind of the same thing. Some people are judging Cam Newton last year because he missed 2 games or because he played 2 games and they lost both games. You can't compare that to the next 14 games. It's just outrageous. Same with Kyrie. I've heard people say about Kyrie Irving with the Nets. When Kyrie Irving left, or when Kyrie Irving got injured, they have a better record when he's not playing. Well, obviously, he's barely played any games this season. He's probably played, I don't know how many games quite. I don't know how many games exactly he's played, but the amount of games they've played without him, it's not even comparable. It's really not. You can't even compare it. So, with Cam Newton, you can't take his last year's stats and say, oh, well, he went 0-2 last year and say, oh, he's not good anymore, he doesn't have it in him. He got injured. I mean, what can you do about it? He played 2 games. Yeah, he went 0-2, but Kyle Allen didn't do that great either. Obviously, they didn't do good enough because they didn't make the playoffs. I think Cam Newton's a great quarterback. I don't think I just believe a lot of people don't think he's that good. It might just be me, but I just believe that a lot of people just think he's not good. And I don't know why I think this, but I just believe if he goes to the Redskins, he could be a good player there. And if Dwayne Haskins has a bad season this year and Cam Newton comes on next season, right, he could have a good season. Cam Newton still got it in him. I like Cam Newton a lot. I know a lot of people don't like him because his attitude. He's a little cocky. He's kind of a show off. He's a lot of show, not really any play. I understand. He's a lot of show. Where I get it. He can be a little show off a little bit. But I think that's just, I like him. I like Cam Newton. I know a lot of people don't like him. I like Cam Newton a lot. I think he's still got it in him. I think he's still a very good quarterback. I do think the injuries have slowed him down a little bit, but I mean that's with any person. That's with any human being. If you have an injury, that it could hurt you a lot. It could damage your career a lot. You can never be the same for other injuries, right? There's a lot of injuries out there that, players aren't the same because of them. And, it's a foot injury. He's always had a foot problem. And I think Cam Newton's, he was an MVP, 4 years ago, whatever? He was MVP about 4 years ago. I just, it's crazy how it can switch. 4 years ago, he's MVP face of the league, and everybody was like, oh, Cam Newton. And now everybody's like, oh, Cam Newton's horrible. Like I said, I think Ron Rivera and Cam Newton are close. I think they're good. I think they would be good together for reunion back in Washington with the Redskins. I wouldn't be surprised to see it happen. I think Cam Newton's still got a lot in him. He's only 30 years old. I get it. He's had a lot of injuries with the foot and everything, but if you can keep that foot healthy, nothing else is really bothering him that much. I think the shoulder has a little bit, but I don't think as much as the foot. In his career, he's played 125 games, 3,980 completions, 2,371 completion attempts, 3,980 attempts, 2,371 completions, 59.6 completion percentage, attempts per game, 31.8, rounded up to 32. Yards, 29,041. Average, 7.3 yards per game, 232.3. 182 touchdowns, 4.6 touchdown percentage, 108 interception or reception percentage, 2.7. Long is 91. Let me see. Sacked 291 times. I can't see that being correct. And overall rating is 86.1. That's his overall rating. QBR rating. So that's what I got for Cam Newton. His stats are good. They're good. When he's healthy, he could be a very good player, right? You look at his MVP season. I'm pretty sure this was his MVP season. He had 35 touchdowns. He had 14 or 10 interceptions. Right? Am I looking at this correctly? Yeah, 35 touchdowns, right? That's almost 40 right there. And he's a good player. He's a very good player. And I still believe, I know I've said this a lot, I still believe he could be a starter. I still believe he can be a good player, lead you to playoff games. And I think with the Redskins, they don't have that great receivers. But I think if they build around him, it wouldn't be bad. And like I said, Cam Newton, I think he's going to get picked up by a team before the season starts. It might not be the Redskins, but I do believe he could still be a starter with another franchise. That might not be the Redskins. It's just what Ron Rivera said could be a little convincing. He said he's not ruling out a reunion with Cam Newton, meaning like it could happen, right? Like, yeah, Dwayne Haskins is there, yeah, but if Dwayne Haskins has another horrible season like he did, you're going to need to look at another quarterback, right? And I think I could definitely see Cam Newton being a good fit there with Ron Rivera being the coach. They were together for so long in Carolina, and now they could come back in Washington and play for the Redskins. I could see it happening. So that's what I got for Cam Newton. What do you think? Leave a comment down below. Do you think that Cam Newton will be a quality player for the Redskins if he goes there, or for whatever team he goes there? What will happen? That's what I got for Cam Newton. Now we got our last dance in the Alex Smith E60. So the last dance is today, or tomorrow, or Sunday. I meant Alex Smith is today. So the Alex Smith is today, Friday, and then the last dance is on Sunday. So it's gonna be fun. If you want to watch the Alex Smith documentary, or it's not a documentary, it's an E60, so it's an hour, and it's pretty much just goes through what happened to him. It's on ESPN. I've seen a couple of them. But it's pretty much going through how when he got injured, he got injured badly. It was actually kind of weird, though, because what happened was they crunched the numbers, a lot of people did, and they found out that same day, like a long time back, was when Joe Theismann injured his leg. The Joe Theismann injury, I think LT broke it. It was bad. Joe Theismann's injury was very bad, and it was on that same day, except just a long time ago, was when he broke it, and then Alex Smith ended up breaking his leg. Same injury too. It's bad when your bone sticks out of your leg. It's bad. It can get really bad. Like, it's painful. Good thing I've never gone through it, but I know it's painful. Like, you could just see the players out there. It's not good at all. And good thing it's never happened to me. But if to the people out there who's happened to you, it's painful. I'm sure it's painful. And Alex Smith, it's pretty much just going to be running through what happened, the training back, if he's going to get back to the NFL. When it first happened, people were like, okay, when he first got injured and they knew it was a bone sticking out of his leg, they were like, okay, a year and so. And then he got a bad infection, and that bumped his, rehab and all that stuff really back. And it was really bad infection. And I don't know what kind of infection it was. I don't know what it was, but it was bad. And they actually had to, kind of do a lot more stuff to it because of the infection. And it kind of bumped his rehab back a lot. Like, he could have rehabbed, but then he got word that there was a bad infection in there, so his rehab time got bumped back, and he couldn't really get back. So he's still rehabbing. Who knows if he'll be back in the NFL? I was one of those people when it first happened. I was like, all right, he's going to definitely miss a year and a half, maybe 2 years. But it could be more than that. I mean, we're coming on after this year, then next year he would be ready. I don't even know if he's going to be ready by next year. I mean, he's not even I don't even know, I don't even think he's I don't know what really, you'll find out tonight, or today, obviously, what happens with whatever happens with the Alex Smith. I don't know quite if he's I don't think he's out of the cast yet. He's probably still, I don't know quite what it is. I mean, this has happened 2 years ago. I thought he was going to be back. Like I said, year and a half, 2 years. So he's almost, for me, my prediction was he would be back this year, next year, something like that, or be ready for the mid this year. And I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know if it's going to turn to a Ryan Shazier, where he got injured badly. He's not going to probably come back, but he's still on the team, but he's not playing, right? I don't know if it's something like that's going to happen, or if he's going to make a comeback. Shazier is trying to make a comeback, but he could barely walk. He almost got paralyzed, but he's back, but he's not. He can run and stuff. He's just, I don't think he's ready for football yet. But I think Alex Smith, I don't know how long it's going to be. And that's the whole E60. The whole E60 is going to be on, Alex Smith, the whole injury, probably take you back to the play it happened, what has gone on through it, how he's gotten, what the steps to getting back, what happened when it first happened and all that. It's probably going to do a rundown of all what happened throughout this whole injury process. And then we have The Last Dance, which is Sunday. Episodes 5 and 6. Those are going to be fun. Not too sure what they're on. They're probably just going to be moving along. The last episode showed their 91 NBA Finals win, which was their first one of 6. So 5 more to go in the documentary. We will see. It's been awesome. I know I've said it a lot, and I might be sounding like a little outrageous, but it's really good. I've been enjoying it. If you're watching, hopefully you've been enjoying it as well. It's crazy because you learn a lot more about it. You might have thought oh, well, Jordan was so good, but this behind the scenes and everything was so crazy about all of it, and everything that would happen behind the scenes, and I knew Dennis Rodman was an odd guy. I knew he was a little crazy, but I never knew he took trips out to Las Vegas and all that. I never knew that. I never knew he had because his I said this before on Monday. I think I said it. And on Monday we'll talk about The Last Dance, episode 5 and 6 again. We'll talk about that as well. But like I said with The Last Dance on Monday, his head's a little. Rodman's a little odd, and he had to take trips. He had to get away from basketball for a little bit to go play, from playing basketball for a little bit to go out to Las Vegas. And he was a big partier and all that. I never knew any of that. I'm learning new things, and I've known about this. This dynasty and everything, right? It's crazy how good they were, and people can make an argument that people say that the Warriors dynasty a couple years ago, when they won what 3 or 4 of them, and everybody's like, oh, Warriors are the best dynasty. No, nobody. The Bulls tops the Warriors, right? The Bulls tops the Warriors. I hear some crazy comparisons with players, LeBron and Curry comparison. I think that's crazy. I've heard I've heard MJ and Stephen Curry. I've heard Bulls Warriors comparisons. I just think the Bulls are the best dynasty ever. I don't know if you're going to see something like that again. People still question if Michael Jordan's human. He was always so good. He was always on. He didn't have that one missed free throw though. They did show it. Some people say, oh, I never knew he missed. It's crazy. But yeah, Michael Jordan was unreal. He was a crazy basketball player, best basketball player of all time. So that's what I got or the best, if you want to make the argument on LeBron. But either way, so that's what I got. We got two good. We got an E60 today, which isn't a documentary. It's not a documentary. It's not a documentary. It's an E60, so it's just an hour-long program that's why they call it ES60. I think it's called ESPN 60, meaning 60 minutes, I think it is. It's an hour-long program, and they'll probably run through everything that happened with him and all that. Last Dance, obviously, episodes 5 and 6 on Sunday. So that's what I got. I won't be doing pod Saturday and Sunday because you already know that I take breaks. I take off those days. I do them Monday through Friday. So Saturday and Sunday I'm taking off. Hopefully you enjoy your weekend, and I will see you all back here on Monday. Hope you enjoyed it, and thanks for watching.